Hi, this is Trista Robinson from Echoes of Fear, and you're listening to Without Your Head.
All right, and welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil here in a special live Saturday night edition, and I'm joined by the fine folks from South Texas Underground Film Festival. We have Mariella, nobody, I believe her name is, Rob Perez, Chris Ambriz, and Micah DeBenedetto. Very cool to have all of you here.
Nice being here. Good to have you on the show.
Hello.
Ooh. So the eighth year coming up, 2020, the South Texas Underground Film Festival. So it started 8 years ago. How did it all come about?
I think the best person to answer that one would be Mariella. It was go ahead, Mariella. It started off as we were an organization, and
we started having film challenges. We did the horror film challenges, and then we had something called Sisterhood in Film and Music, which was a celebration of women-led films and women filmmakers and women's ones, like Punk Band. And that started because by another organization that there weren't any female filmmakers. And so, through this organization wrong, we did that one. And I guess a couple months later, we did Corpus Christi's first LGBT, film festival. And then, because of all the work that went into each screenings and film festivals, decided to make the South Texas Underground Festival. That's how we came to be.
Mm-hmm. So was it when it started? Was it mostly local filmmakers?
Well, it was local filmmakers, but we also met Brian Lanano, who's been with us since the very beginning, like showing his stuff since our beginning. Who else, Robert?
Well, the thing about our even though we knew at the early, that early first year of challenges and presentations and stuff like that we were doing here in Corpus, we kind of knew that it would always be heavily, filled with local. But that's the beauty of what Mariella did. She actually was reaching out in the, to the different filmmakers across the internet, across, the pretty much the globe, and would bring us these amazing films that they wanted to share. So we were able to bring in that outside element, to hope to inspire our local community to start, taking a look abroad instead of just looking at the local landscape, but like, hey, look at these examples of what all these other guys are doing in the New York area and Boston and overseas in England and stuff like that. And it just, word of mouth, it just, we would throw a little, hey, we're doing a, whatever the challenge was at the moment. If it was, LGBT, then we had a influx of various films. We didn't have any submission fees of any kind as a barrier, so we would definitely get all kinds of interesting films. From zero budget, we're gonna film any way that we can, to some stuff that actually had some money backing it, that had some distribution and stuff. So it was like a really broad range of films of all different kind of genres and stuff, that the work that we would put into each of these presentations, which I think it was almost every other couple of months, every 2 to 3 months, we were actually doing one of these presentations that my wife just said, you know what, let's combine all of this and launch out the festival, and so like she was saying before, that's how we got introduced to Brian Lanano, award-winning for filmmaker, We had DJ Devereaux, which is this awesome dude. If anybody, I mean, he's into photography, video production. I mean, I think right now his current thing that he's trying to do is like stand-up comedy. But in the UK, I mean, he's always pushing the bounds on his Facebook page with all kinds of stuff. Because of our roots, I guess, our very first challenge was a horror film challenge. We kind of always felt that we needed to make sure that was a good staple of the festival. And
we were all horror filmmakers, experimental filmmakers. We like the strange, bizarre type of, like, that's what we were creating. And we wanted something that represented what we like to do, and get perspectives from other places.
So on that note, the film festival itself, we try to give one whole day to that, that bizarre, B movie, whatever it is, and it's something that Mariella had always wanted to name the Cine de Curios. Actually, she wanted to call the whole festival that. But we're lucky, we have one whole day that we use that moniker, and that's basically what you'll see on that particular day. It's usually a Friday now. In the past, it used to be a Thursday night, but we do that on Friday. Our midnight screenings, will be in that vein. And even though, we have like Texas blocks of films, you'll see, the horror imprint kind of scattered, throughout the film festival and other of the categories that we have. So, that's the beauty of the festival. I mean, you'll catch something pretty unique on any given day of the festival, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, how many days does the festival run?
We used to do it, when we started, it was 7. But I guess Corpus is a working town. So we had to scale it down to 4 because usually, people are off from Thursday to Sunday. And that's, we want people to go in and watch these films that we bring into Corpus.
Yeah. And usually how many, how long does it run each day? Usually how many features do you show? How many shorts do you show?
Over, I guess, when we first started, we had never done that type of presentation over that amount of time. I mean, so we screened almost 150.
Yeah, it was over 200.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was an outrageous number of features and shorts and stuff. And the first 2 years were kind of like that. When we started getting a different gauge, then we started kind of bringing it down a bit. I think last year we screened. I want to say the last couple of years we've screened pretty consistently around 100 films. That includes short films and feature films. Usually, I think it's anywhere between 8 and 12 features. We show a lot of shorts, though. I mean, a lot of short blocks. And this, now that we're screening at the Alamo Draft House, it definitely poses some interesting, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's a little bit different because they work on a different scale, obviously. We used to screen at the college, and so we could pretty much start at whatever time we wanted, and I mean we would end it pretty reasonably about 11:30. I don't know. I guess there weren't too many parameters, I guess, when we would do it that way. What we're doing now with Draft House, and they are so awesome to work with. Getting multiple theaters, I guess that's the thing. We're trying to grow the festival with the city and with our filmmakers, that we want to be able to broaden, I guess, what we were able to do in the past. Usually it would be one screening. The filmmaker would get one screening, and but we're going to try to see what we can do of multiple screenings for some of these films, because sometimes you miss that gem, and you hear people talking about it, and you're like, oh man, how can I get a chance to see that again? Or a film sells out. The draft houses that we have around here, they're not. I don't know how big they are in other cities, but 150 plus seating. I guess that's what their biggest venue is, and I don't know. We pushed the envelope pretty hard last year, and we pretty much sold out almost every screening that we had. And I know a lot of people were missing some of the screenings because they couldn't get in. So it's definitely, that's something we definitely want to explore. I mean, the more films we get, the more if everybody sends us their craziest films and stuff like that, they want a chance to screen. I mean, hey, give us an opportunity. We'll get more screenings and more screens, and we'll show more stuff. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that we found ourselves, after we screened at your film festival that first time, we still had that influx of people still wanting to go see it. We had to do another screening on our own just to kind of match up with what they did.
Yeah, this is Chris Ambriz that's speaking with us right now. He actually has participated in some of our past challenges, and even his latest feature, we had the opportunity to screen that last year. He was so helpful in helping present the film festival at Alamo Draft House, and helped us a lot, with yes, and definitely a film liaison, being there and having screened and helping that process and doing all that. So it's really cool, when everybody definitely gets together. That's one of the highlights of the festival for sure. It's getting together and sharing war stories and
learning.
Oh yeah, learning.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, there's so much different because everybody that we're screening has, I guess, a different range of where they've been, either through distribution, various film festivals that they've screened at, or just their production and their budgets that they're working with. You definitely come away with various knowledge that you might have not had before, or things that you can share with other filmmakers. That's for sure.
Also, my experience too, because I started with them. They gave us an opportunity to screen one of our short films back in 2011, and there isn't too many opportunities around here, even for that marginal, that size of a venue or audience around here. And it was nice to be able to get that feedback from an audience, seeing if this is actually if the horror is quote unquote working for us or not, and everything. So even from going back then and then doing other projects with them, we've definitely learned a lot back then too.
Yeah, I know myself just going to the festivals the last couple of years. It's a great experience because you get to meet all the filmmakers. You also get to meet other film fans, and a lot of people, exactly what you're saying, they get together. Some have different experiences than other people, and then people start to work together. Even myself, from this last festival, I made my first short, and I had a great time. So it's and everyone's very is always very open with and helpful with everyone. I've never seen anybody at a festival that has a problem with somebody else, or they're like jealous of someone else's success or anything. Everyone is really encouraging.
Yeah, is Micah? Are you still there? I don't know if Micah's still on the line with us.
No, we may have lost Micah.
Okay, I was going to say that the beauty of the festival, even from the get go, when we first did, I guess that first. Hey, this is stuff. The very first one, we didn't know what to expect, and the filmmakers showed up, and it was downtown Corpus, and so that made it also inviting. We had filmmakers come in all the way from Finland, Australia, various parts of the United States.
Donna McCrae. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Donna McCrae. Is a woman in horror filmmaker. She's the one that came in from Australia, and we've been friends with her ever since.
Oh, wow.
and Micah.
Yeah.
He's in Christian Dress.
Yeah, he did Christian Dreadful. He actually introduced us to a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of Finnish horror film. I mean, these guys are like, I guess we kind of shocked a lot of people when we brought some of those films. We presented them as one of our midnight showcases, and literally people's mouths were open like, what the heck are you guys? I mean, they really have some amazing work as far as the makeup. They pushing the envelope with everything that they were doing. And when you're trying to show, when you use the word midnight screening, that's what we're looking for. We want something that's going to push that envelope that you definitely want, the people that came in talking about it, year after year, like, oh my gosh, you should have went to that screening, or you should have seen this, and it's something to look forward to. So
these are the filmmakers that are not worried about getting censored by Amazon.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing going on right there. But definitely, we like to, it's another thing is we present. I guess during the other part of the festival, we like to do something. In the past, we called it horror from around the world, and we try to bring that different perspective, showing what Spain considers horror or their style of horror, and we mix it up with different countries and stuff, so that it's something different. If you're used to whatever the American cinema seems to be presenting, and that is your only scope. We hope that our festival is an educational experience for some that are new to film festivals and stuff like that as well.
Mm-hmm. So, how much has that grown over the years? Over the 8 years, getting people getting submissions from other countries.
Well, I think we started using Film Freeway. That first year, we had about almost right under 3,000 submissions.
Oh, wow.
So the submissions, it's grown. But I have noticed this year, because we got rid of the free submission time frame, which was like our early bird, the submissions have dropped.
Well, it's dropped, but you know what? I think that's a quality. Like we had mentioned earlier, you have like these zero to no budget to, you know what I mean? So I think it's kind of narrowing the filter, so to speak. We're not getting as many. I don't know how to say this. In the film festival groups and stuff like this, there's always this running thing about the Iranian filmmakers, because they have trouble paying for submission fees, and they're always looking for
but they ask,
yeah, most definitely. We they'll ask and they'll request waivers and stuff. But there's this thing, and a lot of the times, if you have these freebie periods, you'll see an influx of various kind of films, and sometimes they're either very old. You know what I mean? They're still trying to circulate maybe some older work or whatever. But I think that the quality of films has definitely risen as far as the different type of work that we're receiving actually from filmmakers abroad. I think, and I think that's due to word of mouth, the internet, the photos, and on being on Film Freeway. I think Film Freeway has actually helped out immensely.
I think too, from my perspective, from the filmmaking perspective too, is that it's like you've done, like when we did Cthulhu, for example, many years ago. You want to go back again. You want to get that kind of rousing audience experience, and you want to put on a show. You want to make it entertaining for everybody, including ourselves, the filmmakers, the festival programmers and stuff like that. So I think it kind of puts you in that mode and that mindset to make it as great as you can, to make it an event, to make it a worthwhile, whatever you're paying to put into it, but also to support them as well.
Mm-hmm. So how do you narrow it down to whatever many you're going to show, 150, whatever, when you have like thousands of entries? How long does that take to go through and filter down?
We start going through them. We try to start as soon as we begin.
Yeah, as soon as we start, I mean, basically one film festival will end and the next one begins, and people are like, "Hey, so you guys get to go, celebrate and whatever." And it's like, well, no, it's the next festival is probably either about to launch or has, in some cases, launched during the festival that was currently operating, and it's a thing where the screening process begins. You start watching some shorts. That's the beauty of behind the scenes of when you got like a film Freeway. You can either put them in set categories, and then they all kind of like you start to see them pop up in that way where you can just divvy out to certain grouping of judges, and then they can watch that batch, and then another person watches them, and then it's there's definitely times during this whole process where you get this massive influx, and it's usually around those deadline periods. You'll get all these submissions right away. On our end, I want to say that literally till the last deadline, and even sometimes there are these like maybe there could even be 10 to 20 films that we're still contemplating, even at the very end when it's already time to make those last choices.
Yeah, but it's really hard.
It's so difficult. By that time, I think we feel that, and this is something that I think we've expressed to the filmmakers, is that when we get to that point, it's almost like these truly are the winning films of the entire film festival. Going through that gauntlet of films. I mean, it is so amazing to see these works, and it's heartbreaking. When we have to make a cut that somebody doesn't screen. Sometimes it's all about time. How much time do we have, and that's what we're trying to work with Draft House. We want to make sure that we have enough time slots, and that the experience for the filmmaker, that a lot of people think we'll just get more time. Well, if we start cutting in and bringing more films, then we run into the problem we had at this last festival, where the response, people wanted to hear these filmmakers talk for a longer amount of time. The Q&A.
I think also too, they curate so well that you don't go in there and you're going to watch anything below par or subpar or anything like that. Every screening has a good theme to it, has great filmmakers that actually show up and participate in Q&A and stuff like that too. So I think that also probably plays a lot factor of who they're going to pick. They want that support from the filmmaking community, and that I think that just adds to the presentation as well. And for me, when I got to help be as a liaison and talk to the filmmakers and get into their heads a little bit about what the process was, what it was like to make these films, and getting that back to the audience too, I think that brings another level to everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said about a lot of shorts. I've noticed over the last few years the shorts have really grown in popularity. Why do you think that is? Is it partly due to festivals, because it's just physically possible to show more, shorts? They're also cheaper to make, I assume, than making a feature.
Yeah, they're actually to be too.
For me, my perspective of what I've seen is that because I do a lot of the programming, and I try to offer a little mix of what we're trying on our categories, but just quickly on shorts. You have the very short film, then you have those ones that kind of fall like they're a little bit too long, that can almost be considered a short feature. But then there's these ones that are like anywhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes. That's horrible for a film festival. It is hard for them to program films like this, because it's like, do I not schedule a feature and we go with, something like this, and then we put some more shorts with it? You know what I mean? It's like a puzzle, and you're trying to craft this journey, so to speak, for your audience, to participate in the thing, and it gets a little bit difficult to juggle all that. I think
that's not to say that we won't.
Oh no, yeah.
A good story is a good story, whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes.
Yeah,
you got to get it in there.
We've screened films over the years. We've screened features that were as long as 3 hours. We've screened shorts that were as short as 30 seconds. If the film knocks the socks off of everybody, I mean, we're going to find some way to put the film in there. And that's been, that's the thing about our film festival, where people will take a step back, and I have filmmakers coming up to us, commenting about the block that they were in, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe the type of films that they were in the category with. And honestly, that is the best kind of feedback that we can get, as programmers and presenters of something like this, is when the filmmaker basically is just pleased all the way around, as far as, the way they were treated, the grouping of films, and I mean, we try to treat them like rock stars. I mean, they put so much hard work into it that they deserve that spotlight, and that's what Stuff tries to do with all the films that we're dealing with here. It's very personal films, for the filmmakers, and we try to take a lot of thought into that.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Brian Lanano, who I actually had on the show last year. I really like his work. When you have someone like that who comes back, multiple times, does that happen a lot? You get to see people's, work progress and multiple, projects that they work on, and then submit you every year or two.
Yeah, we see these guys like Brian. He's been with us from the beginning, and he's Are you able to hear me?
You're a little low.
Oh, am I? Okay. Like Brian, he's been with us from the very beginning, and we've seen his like when he was a student filmmaker to where he is now, and we have seen him, and it's amazing, and it's an honor to show his work, because he trusts us to present his film, in the way that it should be presented, whenever we do screen him. And we have like a group, like once you're an alum, we have a Facebook group called Familia de Stuff, and pretty much we become family. We keep in communication with each other.
Yeah, once they screen, it doesn't end there. It becomes it's every year we always like to say that the family grows. All the filmmakers become part of our family, and if there's a work that they're working on, if there's they're trying to raise funds, whatever the case may be, we're always there trying to show as much support. When the film, after 2 or 3 years, it's made its run through the festival circuit, and they want to distribute the film, if it's giving it away free online or having it on Amazon or selling DVDs, I mean, the process doesn't end there. It's not like, oh, thank you very much, glad you came, we don't want to hear from you. No, we want to hear from these filmmakers, and it is such a joy to see the progress. Like Donna McRae. Donna McRae was at our first film festival and with Johnny Ghost, and when she submitted to this year's or last year's film festival, we were like, oh wow! I mean, I know how it is from Australia, and travel and all this kind of stuff, but to be blessed and have them return, I mean, it is always such joy to reunite with and not and if filmmakers submit and they can't come, that's not a reason not to submit, because we love to see the progress of what's happening with filmmakers and where they're at, and be able to revisit some of our alum. I mean, this is a great opportunity to reconnect new film goers to some of the people that we worked with in the past, especially when it comes to the horror filmmakers, some of the experimental filmmakers, and our documentary filmmakers as well.
Mm-hmm. Since you mentioned all those different things, horror, documentary, experimental, is there any type of guideline of what kind of films you would submit to the South Texas Underground Film Festival?
Well, as far as documentaries, I want people to think. I don't want something that, I don't know. I want the documentaries to show other perspectives, learn a different culture, whether it's controversial or not. Most of the time they are controversial documentaries, and us being in Texas and I guess being more conservative in Texas, want people to think.
But I think on I guess on content stuff like that. But I think as far as genres go, I think when people submit, to the South Texas Underground Film Festival, if you go to the Film Freeway, there seems to be some categories there, but I don't think it's limited to that. If somebody wants to submit something to us, I think we're pretty much game, to anybody that wants to submit. I mean, all they can do is email us and hit us up and find out, hey, is this something that we'd be interested in? To me, I end up finding out that you actually find quite a few gems that way. That they're kind of like, is this for me? Is this a place that I can find a home? And usually we're pretty open to that kind of artist, because obviously they're careful of what they want to submit, and they're protective of their film, but at the same time they want to make sure it gets a fair chance. And I would say that to your audience, if they have a film that they don't know if it's a place for it at the film festival, just hit us up, email us on Facebook, email us on our our email or whatever the case may be, and just let us take a look at it. And you never know, you could get selected.
I think you look at like our past, we show a lot of experience. We show a lot of we pride ourselves in being so women filmmakers, people of color, we're very diverse. We want the platform there, for everybody without there being any sort of discrimination, because we come from the background, and like the filmmaker, we are a filmmaker run festival, so
it's not like you don't have that field experience. You guys know the drill about making.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. And like you said about sometimes you find a hidden gem, because there are a lot of movies that I think do well at like an underground festival, because they don't fit into any like real genre. So sometimes they kind of have a hard time finding a place.
Most definitely.
So what about the area itself? When you're in South Texas, what's good to eat and what's good to see? Obviously, you're going to stay and see the movies, but I also like to get some good food when I'm in new places.
Oh man,
yeah, tacos, brisket, barbecue.
You want authentic, authentic Mexican food, like real Mexican food. Mix, but I'm telling you this, you'll have people in San Corpus, and you can't find the type of food that we got here. We are by the sea. You figure that there would be more seafood, but
we do have seafood.
Well, I put that up to the challenge.
We do. We have.
There's a lot of seafood.
Yeah, we have a lot of seafood.
You can see it.
And there's a lot of restaurants on the water too.
We like. There's a place called Snoopy's. And I think what's the other place next to it? Doc's. Yeah, Doc's Reef and the Reef. They're like right on
the water.
They're right on the water. Yeah, that's you'll get that salty air kind of by the water, watching the
best time to go right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you're probably gonna you're gonna make us hungry. We're all gonna go get some fish in a little bit. Home of Whataburger, obviously, 1950. This is in Texas. It's one of those things, In-N-Out Burger or Whataburger or whatever it is. But
Whataburger.
We're number 3.
yeah, we're number 3. But you know what? If whenever you're in Texas, or there's actually several other states that have Whataburger, but the best place to get one is in Texas, and we're actually the home of, this is where it was founded in Corpus Christi.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have Whataburger when you're down here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also the beach.
Yeah.
We're trying really hard to have a bonfire on the beach this year for one of our after parties.
Yeah.
It's all weather permitting because it's in January.
Yeah, and barbecue. I think did we mention barbecue?
Yeah, brisket. Yeah.
And then we're Corpus and Silver email, so we're right on the southern tip of Padre Island. So if you go too far from the actual national tour, the beach is beautiful. The sand is soft, it's like flour.
And unlike larger cities, it's like, and I'm not kidding. 15 minutes and you're everywhere in 15 minutes. So if you're downtown, hopefully you don't get caught traffic, but definitely in 15 minutes you're already in the other side of town. You can definitely explore Corpus relatively easily and plan, your screenings along with other places that you might want to try, and sites to see. Definitely the nightlife and downtown, and I think one of the things that we like to pride ourselves in are our after parties and our after parties. And we like to party. Nice. And so when it comes to what the thing is about Draft House is we're trying to find that careful balance so that way we can have everybody join us as much as possible at our destination. Because I definitely I like when people are all able to experience the after parties and stuff like that together and stuff like that. So definitely those are in the works for sure. There's a lot of cool things to see in Corpus and explore. It's definitely a pretty cool beach town, I think, and the weather's always relatively nice, even though it is in January.
We had to move that up, didn't we, because of this time?
Yeah.
Well, we had to move it because of Hurricane Harvey. If Harvey didn't hit, this would be...
we would be number 9 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of Harvey, it moved our festival.
Devastated a lot of the area.
And the festival used to be that November, December time, and I actually think it's better in January. I personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm from Massachusetts, so I'm sure the weather will be a lot nicer in Texas in January than it is where I'm living currently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bring your shorts.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to be there, and I'm definitely looking forward to the festival. But I'm also looking forward to some barbecue and some authentic Mexican food. So I'm going to have a great time.
Oh man!
Yeah, and it's tacos made with homemade tortillas. Store-bought tortillas. There's a difference.
They're rolling things out. Yeah, they're rolling them out and stuff in front of you, and great stuff, man.
Yeah, I've been to Texas before, but not this area. I was in Dallas, Fort Worth, so I've never been to South Texas.
Oh, it's different.
Yeah.
But you'll enjoy it. I'm sure
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So, what kind of awards do you guys give out for different filmmakers?
Well, this past year we gave out stuffed Oreo cookies.
Well, it's.
I love it.
The thing is. The thing is that the awards themselves are more of, I guess, honors. They're kind of like I had mentioned before. When we choose the films, we really feel that those are the winning films out of all these films that we've screened. But then we try to maybe find a special designation on honor that we can on some of the films. And sometimes we're talking about. An 11th hour, or actually, there, it's the feel of what's happening and stuff while we're looking at the films again with the filmmakers and the audiences and stuff, and there's just something that we
I
really
luckily have
enjoy.
one, and I got a very, very nice medallion. So it's a nice little centerpiece for your mantle.
Yeah,
I wish we could give more, but I mean, we're self-funded. We don't have
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I do overtime, and I pay for the festival out of pocket, and then there's the in-kind stuff that will with trade or something, and then with the submission fees. So,
but I guess what we try to do is there's certain like Cine de Curio, we'll try to honor some of those films that we've done.
Standouts.
Yeah, the standout ones. Best of Fest. The LGBT. We'll try to find some films that hit some of these local. Yeah, we try to honor maybe a local made in Texas, and
which is the city that we go to. Yeah. So that would be your experimental, your sci-fi, your straight and unusual.
But and like I said, those we try to give them maybe another special designation to those. But overall, when that list comes out, it's like like we've gone 14 rounds. I'm talking about old school boxing, and we got to that 15th round, and we're ready to do the screening and stuff. And it's it's. I wish we could give a belt and stuff like that, but it's like we really truly feel that every film that we've finally chosen is definitely a winning film, and it's that everybody's a winner. They're going to get a great opportunity for these audience. Audience gets to see an amazing grouping of films.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure whatever you guys do, it's going to be creative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. People seeing the movies, that's more important than getting a trophy of some kind or something like that. You guys said that earlier that you were horror filmmakers. What kind of stuff have you made? And do you ever show your own films at the festival?
Well, you want me to? Well, Chris, before go explain your thing, and then how you came, because I think you were a film liaison that we were trying to bring on because you had screened with us before.
Right.
You didn't have anything in competition at the time, or
yeah, I was just helping out. Well, I was a local filmmaker. I've been doing it for about 20 years, and there hasn't been a lot. And back when I started doing horror films, because I'm just a horror fan, it was. It wasn't exactly a lot of outlets for a filmmaker to screen, especially around here. And they kind of looked down on it. I wasn't really popular at the time. So over the years, keeping track of what Southside Underground was doing, especially for the filmmakers and giving them the venue and giving them the voice, I had a couple of my shorts screened there. I had one short called Pen, and a year and a half later I did El Cucuy, based on the legend of the boogeyman around here. And we did really well with those. And a few years later, we screened again. And then this past year, in 2018, we screened our feature film, which is Muerte Tales of Horror, which did really well. And I guess we were picks for the Alumni Draft House because we had the screen there with our casting crew, and it turned into quite a good, great event. I mean, it was amazing. I'm very honored to be a part of all that.
My wife, Mariella, you did a lot of producing and stuff.
Yeah, I wear the producer hat most of the time. Rob and I do dark comedy, and we tend to do dark stuff with our kids because they're readily available actors. And if you give us something to do with the family, but it's still like, I guess, dark short film. And you can see them online. We've also done, we did a feature-length documentary about a curandero, which is a Mexican witch doctor. It's real interesting. But the past, 5 years?
Yeah, I
haven't done anything because I started a different profession, and I did not have a lot of time because I was working 130 hours, and you don't have time to take a shower.
Before the festival, I would do a lot of freelance editing, I had help occasional productions and stuff like that. All the self-directed work, I would work with my wife, and there were those shorts that we would do. There's always that bug, that itch, to create, most definitely, and it's definitely trying to plan that schedule and just go out and doing it. But a lot of the festival does gobble up some of that time to do that, and
because you're planning and organizing. You're producing.
Yeah.
What a producer does with a film, you're producing. It's pretty much like the same thing. You're producing and organizing just an event.
And the thing is that when we make our films, we're going 100% plus, and so when we're doing the festival, it's like it's not any different than when we were making films. We're giving it a 100 to 1,000% effort, thinking about that filmmaker and the experience that they're going to have, what the filmmaker's going to, working behind the scenes with the Alamo Draft House. That whole thing is such an amazing thing to go behind the scenes of a place like Alamo Draft House and see, how that works. One thing that we were very happy to do was we were able to screen in DCP the presentation, the festival itself. And in the past, we're Blu-rays this and trying to make sure that this thing was going to screen right or was going to sound right.
We do a lot of tech checks.
We
wanted it to be perfect.
But when you have these guys that are so well trained at Draft House at your disposal, and their job is to make you look like $1 million, so that you can make your filmmakers look like $1 million. I think that was the biggest thing that we kept hearing from the filmmakers. I've never seen my film. I've never seen it presented that way.
We started this past year because of Alamo, and we were 100%.
Yeah, most theaters want that anyway now.
Yeah, and the fact that we're able to offer, that presentation, definitely, having the filmmakers happy and being able to present that, and we're trying to show it in as much of the true vision of what the filmmaker had in mind. And we're trying to preserve that. Everybody wants to see it in the way that it was made and sound the way it was made, and so that's our goal. We really want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's coming up, and the next one is coming up in January 2020, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got some other guests coming up here, so it's cool to talk to you guys, and we're going to talk to you more throughout the year as we lead up to South Texas Underground Film Festival 2020, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to you coming down.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, definitely. And anyone out there, if when you find out if your movie is playing in South Texas, if you want to come on the show or do an interview in Texas or both, just message me and we'll hook it up.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You have a good night.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, this is Tom Matthews, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com. Stay tuned.